Hello, I'm Nathan Parker, an instructor for freemagicschool.com, back with another prediction type mentalism effect. Here is the presentation. I have 3 cards here, index cards. I have 3 different shapes drawn on each card. On this one, a triangle. On this one, a circle. And on this one, a somewhat of a square. So square, circle, and triangle. At this point, I will have the spectator choose one of the shapes. I will tell them to think about the shape in their mind before choosing aloud. Okay, say they choose the square. I will then proceed to prove to them that I knew what shape they were going to choose. On the back of the square card, I have made a marking, and on the other 2 shapes, there is none. Okay, so this is how this one works. Set up, take your index cards. They don't have to be index cards. You can just take 3 fairly decent sized pieces of paper and draw your 3 shapes on the front of those. I have on mine a triangle, circle, and a square. Now, this one is, once again, simple, yet can have a lot of impact if you play it up correctly, and almost no way to mess this one up. Alright, so I'll start by showing the spectator the 3 shapes on the front of the cards. The triangle, the square. Now when I show them the square, which has the marking on the back, I will hold it in their view for a few seconds longer than I did the triangle or the circle, and I will demonstrate that now. So I'm showing the spectator the shapes. I have a triangle, a square, and a circle. So just a few seconds longer, not long, not anything awkward, but a few seconds longer, you want to hold this card up for them to see. This is a slight suggestion that will hopefully influence them subconsciously to pick the square. Alright, now what if they don't pick the square? No problem. Say they pick the circle. Now the circle nor the triangle have any markings on the back. If they pick the circle, then I will tell them that I knew the shape that they would pick before they chose it. How do I prove this? I show them on my hand I have drawn a circle. No other shapes on my hands, just the circle. Alright. So what if they pick the triangle? No markings on the back and no triangles on my hands. So if they pick the triangle, I have my card case here with my cards. If they pick the triangle, I tell them the same thing. I knew the card or the shape they were going to pick before they picked it. I'll have them open my card case, and on the inside flap, there is the triangle. So like I said, there's really no way to lose on this one. Of course, if they pick the square, they can turn it over and see the star or little design I've made on the back. Now when you make your star or whatever little shape you make on the back, you don't want to make it very big. You want it to be fairly small because if they don't pick the square after then, if they expect the 3 note cards, they'll see that on the back, but because you have already showed them either the circle on your hand or the triangle in the card case, they're not going to pay much attention to the star on the back of this. It really isn't even actually a star shape. It's like a cross between an asterisk and a bunch of scribbling. So even if they do see this on the back of this card, they're not going to make a big deal about it. And honestly, there's really no reason for them to look at the back of the cards unless they chose the square. Alright, so let me run through the details of this one more time briefly. You have 3 shapes on 3 cards. On one, you have made a little scribbly type star shape, small, not very large at all. You will use the suggestion once again to try to influence the spectator to pick the square. As such, you'll hold up the triangle, the square, and the circle. If the suggestion works, they will pick the square right away. Tell them you knew they were going to pick it, and demonstrate that by showing them the marking on the back and that the other 2 are blank on the back. If they don't pick the square, if they pick the circle instead, you're all set. Beforehand, you've drawn your circle on your hand. Once again, this is not very large. It's kind of a small circle. It's not in the palm of my hand where it would be more visible. It's closer to the bottom of my thumb. Once again, if they did not pick the circle and they pick the square or the triangle, they're probably never going to notice the circle on your hand. Just don't draw attention to it. It's small. They're not going to notice it. And like I said about the design on the back of the square card, really no reason for them to be looking for that after you've shown them either the triangle or the design on the back of the square. Now, of course, on the triangle, you show them the triangle you've previously drawn on the flap of your card case. Pretty simple effect, yet can hit hard if presented the right way. Some convincers for this and just some extra tips. Not very large design on the back, not a very large circle on my hand, and don't forget, on when you're trying to suggest the square, only hold it up for a few moments longer than the others, not so long that it becomes awkward and obvious. So this is another nice little mentalism effect. Not a lot of practice time. You just want to beforehand make sure you set up, have your triangle pre-drawn on your card flap, your circle pre-drawn on your hand, and of course your little mark on the back of your square card. This is good for beginners as well. Simple effect, presented the right way, can come off very strong. Sometimes it's the simpler effects that impact people the most. This is especially true in mentalism. So with this small effect, you can demonstrate your powers of prediction. Thanks for watching. I'm Nathan Parker for freemagicschool.com. Stay tuned for more videos.